From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your morning update.
Kent's Meats and Grocery is much more than a grocery store. We carry a full line of quality meats, local and organic vegetables, and a large variety of fish, Green Mountain Smart Control pellet grills, and a full deli case of sandwiches and side dishes.
Well, we've got a lot to talk about, from the snow in the mountains. Of course, we're going to see the potential for thunderstorms in the valley and for the coast. But first, let's have a little fun. This is Bob the dog in Bernie. I want to thank Pamela for sending in this image. Obviously, not a lot of snow. I don't know, does Bob look happy? I don't know. It looks a little kind of confused maybe. Snow in Quincy. This is courtesy of Cheryl, so showing some of the snow that they did see out there yesterday. And this is from early this morning. In fact, a little after 2 o'clock this morning, Johnny sent in this photo indicating about 3 inches of snow in Weaverville as of 2 o'clock this morning. There may have been more on top of that. I want to thank all those folks for sending in their photos from the free Weather NorCal app, and you can do the same, and you just might see it right here on the morning update and live on Coffee with Krueger. There's a look at the radar, and you can see the rain and snow that moved on in. Now, a lot of snow in the higher elevations. That's the reason why we've got a lot of chain requirements, but we're just seeing it in the form of rain for the valley. Those strong south winds are keeping those temperatures up a bit and keeping the valley in the form of rain. A lot of chain requirements. Everywhere you see a tire means there's a chain requirement of some form or shape or form. It's north, west, and east of the valley. You're seeing that. Fondale exit, they are screening all vehicles. Make sure you have chains before you can move forward and move northward onto I-5. And of course, there have been also reports of spinouts out there. So let's be careful. If you don't need to be on the roads, probably not a good idea to be out there. And there's been a big mess even yesterday for the Tahoe region, and there's another mess out there this morning and most likely throughout the day today. So let's take a look at some of the cameras from this morning. There you can see the backup at Fondale exit early this morning, right? Because, of course, not a lot of people on the roads just yet. Looking at Lakehead, seeing some snow. We're at I-5 near Highway 89. There's snow there. Snow on Snowman Summit. We're going to see a lot of snow on these Caltrans cameras. Even in Wairika at 2,600 feet, you're seeing snow there. Anderson Grade, North Hill, most likely seeing some of that snow. Kind of hard to see on the camera there. This is Collier Tunnel and Highway 99, or 199 that is, in northeastern Delnor County. There you can see, of course, south of the Oregon state line. Looks like a little bit of snow there as well. How about Highway 97? This is northeast of Weedgrass Lake, Mount Hebron, Doris, all seeing that snow on the highway. Take a look at Buckhorn Summit. There's been some snow there. This is lower Buckhorn, so you can bet at the summit they're seeing snow. Oregon Mountain, Berry Summit. You get it. You guessed it. We are seeing snow there as expected. Hatchet Mountain. This is the Four Corners region, the center of your screen there, Highway 299 and 89 intersection, and Cedar Pass. You guessed it. We're seeing snow there. This is Highway 44, Shingletown. Yep, Shingletown proper, 3,500 feet, you're seeing snow. Lassen Park, no big surprises there. And Bogart Ranger Station, seeing a lot of snow up there. This is Chester, seeing a lot of snow. Johnson Grade for Donier Summit. Yes, snow. All right, how about we get to Susanville? East Riverside in Susanville seeing snow. Town Hill, 36, the intersection of 36 and 44, all seeing snow. Kind of hard to see Doyle and Janesville, so don't have any confirmation there, but Highway 70 and 395. There is snow there. Of course, that's pretty high in elevation, over 5,000 feet. Looks like we do have a bit of snow on Highway 70 at 89, but you can't really see anything east of Quincy there. In the Spring Garden preset there. Hey, by the way, if you want to check the latest road conditions, I've done this great resource for you. Click on weather, when you go to weathernorcal.com, click where it says road conditions, and you will see the more popular cameras in the region, in all of Northern California, so you can at a quick glance see where the snow is and where the snow may not be. There's also a quick link to Quick Maps for Caltrans, so you can see where all of the latest chain requirements are. By the way, you can share your photos, and if you do that, you might see it right here on this morning update and live on Coffee with Krueger. It's important to know the location, elevation, and how much snow did you see, and you can look for them, as I mentioned, on the morning update and live on Coffee with Krueger at 6:30 in the morning. By the way, you can also watch from your smart TV. If you have a Roku, just search for Weather NorCal in the App Store section, Fire Stick, anywhere YouTube is available, including your smart TV. So be sure to check that out. It's a 24-hour streaming channel. All right. Take a little bit of break. Now we're going to get into Krueger's Quickcast. For those of you who just want to know what to expect here for today, well, already you know it's going to be snowy in the mountains, right? And we're going to see rain in the valley and the potential for thunderstorms. That's also the case for the coast. And the coast, by the way, you're looking at the potential for accumulating hail, making for some slick spots there. Otherwise, you've got snow pretty much everywhere in the mountains. Now, that colder air I've been talking about, it's moved on in, and that's what's giving us those lower snow levels as expected. Now that the colder air is in place, we're going to keep those snow levels low. But with a strong south wind today, that's keeping the snow levels above the valley. So showers, possible thunderstorms through the morning for both the coast and the valley. Snow, which will be heavy at times for the higher elevations, and that is going to keep travel dangerous, right? We're going to continue to see that snow. Now, it looks like we may see a lull in the activity here for midnight tonight, and then we go into tomorrow morning. This is when we could see some snow for the north end of the valley around Redding, if we can get it heavy enough. Now, we've been seeing it change as far as the overall intensity, but we may see some snow late tonight, early tomorrow morning for the Redding area, maybe even some minor accumulating snow, but nothing significant. And there you can see Wednesday morning, we are still seeing some of that activity, but may see a bit of a lull in that activity here. All right, there's a look at the wind gusts. And again, that's one of the reasons why we're seeing these higher snow levels for at least the valley and why it's in the form of rain. But the winds should subside later on this afternoon and tonight, and with those calmer winds, that should allow the Redding area, should we see a passing shower move through, bring some snow late tonight and early tomorrow morning. A lot of snow is in the forecast for the ski park. They are officially expected to open for today because of the snow that they saw yesterday and, of course, last night, and more snow today and in the next couple of days. Chances for rain start to diminish by the end of the week, but then we do have more rain and more mountain snow come Sunday and Monday. Here's what we expect here for today. Temperatures are going to be struggling to get out of the 40s in the valley. Showers and possible thunderstorms. That would include Paradise as well. Thunderstorms for the coast, even some of the inland areas, and of course, off and on snow throughout the day in the higher elevations. It's colder tonight, and that's why we could expect to see some snow in Redding, maybe Cottonwood, maybe even Red Bluff. You'll notice, though, we're looking at slightly warmer temperatures heading southward, but cold, cold, cold. Temperatures in the teens and 20s for the higher elevations. All right, let's take a look at that 7-day outlook. I do expect a break from the wet weather. Really, once we get into Thursday, Friday, there may be some isolated showers here and there. And I've got AM snow Thursday morning for Chico. Stick around for the deep dive. We'll talk about that here in a bit. Chances for thunderstorms for the coast the next few days. I do expect a bit of a break, especially for Saturday, but maybe even Friday as well. And then more wet weather coming in Sunday and Monday. And taking a look at your 7-day outlook for Siskiyou, Modoc County, and the Eastern Mountains. Also, a bit of a break for Friday and Saturday. Even Sunday for Modoc County, Eastern Mountains, and then more wet weather coming in by the end of the weekend and early next week. All right, that's a look at your Krueger's Quickcast. Let's get into your headlines. Low snow levels leading to chain requirements on the mountains. You're already seeing that. We saw those chain requirements earlier. Off and on mountain snow all day long today. Possible thunderstorms on the coast and in the valley. That could lead to maybe some hail, heavy downpours, gusty winds, and lightning. We've already seen some of the lightning this morning. Snowflakes still possible for parts of the valley over the coming days. All right, let's get into the deeper dive forecast because we've got a lot to dive into, sponsored by Shasta Hearing Aids.
Hearing loss can creep in little by little until one day you realize something's been missing. It's not about things being louder, it's about the moments that slip by. The joke you didn't quite catch, the quiet I love you, or the conversations with your kids that deserve the full attention. At Shasta Hearing Aids here in Redding, we believe hearing aid care should feel personal. Through compassionate care, a comprehensive hearing aid screening, and technology tailored to your lifestyle, we help you reconnect to what matters most. Schedule your free hearing aid evaluation today.
All right, let's get right to it. And there you can see the radar. We see that big plume of moisture coming on in, giving us the snow, the chain requirements. We've got north, west, and east of the valley. The valley, though, with those gusty winds, seeing that rain and not the snow. So this is the cold air right here. See these speckled clouds? This is classic winter storm for this time of the year. It's cooling down. We definitely do have some moisture to work with. There's the cold front. That's what's kind of ushering in that colder air, and will continue to do so throughout the morning and in the afternoon. We keep this cool and unsettled weather pattern for a while. So there you can see as we go into Wednesday, maybe a bit of a break, another shot Wednesday night into Thursday, Thursday afternoon, maybe a bit of of a break Friday, Saturday, and then this will eventually push eastward, giving us more rain, more mountain snow come Sunday, Monday, and even into Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. More of that wet weather coming on in. So yeah, this is a classic setup for a storm, for winter storms, that is. Just a parade of storms over the Pacific that are heading our way over the next 7 to 10 days. Severe weather outlook, there is a chance for thunderstorms for the areas in green here, especially for the valley and for the coast. We can't rule out even a thunderstorm for the valley tomorrow, but I think most of the thunderstorms would be along the coast. And then another potential for thunderstorms once again for your Thursday. All right, so let's take a look at that Futurecast, right? So there you can see the rain that we are seeing in the valley, that typical horseshoe of the snow in the mountains, rain in the valley. We are seeing snow as low as about 1,000 feet, maybe a little bit locally lower in some cases here. This is creating travel delays north of Reading on I-5. They're checking all vehicles at Fawndale exit north of Reading, 10 miles north of Reading at the Fawndale exit. If you don't have chains, they're not going to let you go, even if you have a car. All right, so there you can see plenty of chain requirements west of I-5, east of I-5 as well. We take you into midday today. There's that chance for showers, possible thunderstorms for the valley, showers, possible thunderstorms for the coast, and more snow. Now, it's not going to be steady snowfall all day for many of us. What we're going to see is off and on snow, and some of those snow flurries will be heavy snow flurries at times. So that's going to keep those roads fairly dangerous throughout the day today. Caltrans is going to be busy trying to keep those roads clear. So just give yourself extra time or stay off the roads if you can, because it is not going to be a pretty picture out there. There you can see we are seeing a bit of a drier trend for the valley, but more scattered showers along the coast. Now for tonight, we can see this little push of moisture. This is midnight tonight. Now this is when the colder air is in place at this point, even for the valley. Now, if we can get any of that to work its way into the valley, Reading could see some accumulating snow. But take a look at Futurecast. It just doesn't show much coming on through. But through the early morning hours on Wednesday, it is showing some activity here. But notice how overall we're just not seeing a lot of activity across the board Wednesday morning. And in fact, we even go to midday, not much in the way of rain or snow, but you can see this disturbance coming in. That's going to bring more showers, possible thunderstorms for your Wednesday for the coast. And then we go into Wednesday night. That is going to reinforce, push eastward. Now we're seeing more snow for Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening, right? And then we go into, check this out. I want to show you something here. Here's 4 a.m. on Thursday. Look at this. We're seeing the snow really start to work its way in the area as we go into late Wednesday night, early Thursday morning, and this could possibly even include getting very close to Chico. This is something we're going to have to watch. We're still a few days out. We're going to be ironing out these details. Nothing guaranteed when we look at this, but keep in mind, if we can get this batch of moisture coming in, we've already got that colder air in place. Wind should be fairly calm Thursday morning. That would allow that cooler air to maybe allow for some snow in the parts of the valley. And this could lead, you can see the heavy rainfall that's associated with this. This could lead to a potential several inches of snow in the valley. We'll have to watch that for early Thursday morning. Then as we go, look at that, see how it kind of fills in a little bit, and then you can see by Thursday morning, 8 a.m., it all pushes off to the east, and by Thursday afternoon, we're seeing a bit of a break. But look at this, even Thursday, 5 p.m., we're seeing some snow flurries in the mountains, not much going on in the valley, and then you can see here as we go into your Friday morning, a bit of a break, Friday afternoon, a bit of a break, but you can see just a little bit of leftover instability because you see a chance for a stray shower here or there. But overall, I'm expecting not much activity through the day on Thursday, not much activity through the day on Friday or Saturday, but then we've got another round coming in, as we saw on Futurecast earlier, for your Sunday and into your Monday. So overall, not a lot of rain for the valley, not a lot of rain for the coast, just because, again, we're looking at not that steady rainfall. But taking a look at the winter storm warning, yeah, it does include Reading all the way down to Corning. And quite honestly, if we see what just panned out on Futurecast, it could work its way down into places like Willows, Chico, and Oroville. So this is a winter storm warning in effect through 10 p.m. on Thursday. By the way, I'm going to take you back to that map here. I want to show that we also have a winter weather advisory along the coast. That is for hail from the thunderstorms. All right, let's take a look at each day. On top of what we've already seen, as you can see as we go through the day today, most of the snow, as you can see, heavier snow down over the northern Sierra. We are seeing the potential, and of course we're already seeing that accumulating snow in places like Weaverville and Hayfork, Mount Shasta, Etna, maybe even Hoopa seeing a little bit of that snow, and up towards Wairika seeing it this morning. Let's take you into Wednesday. Notice now we're seeing the potential for Redding getting in on some of that snow. But again, it doesn't look like, as you saw on Futurecast, a lot of that snow moving on in. Now, again, remember we saw that for early Thursday morning, kind of filling in. Could this be overdoing it? We'll see. Again, we're a few days out. This is something we're going to have to iron out, but it's not out of the question as that colder air is in place. And if we can indeed get that moisture to come on through, with that cold air in place, fairly calm winds Thursday morning, we could be looking at the potential for some accumulating snow all the way down into Glenn and Butte counties as well, with that heavier snow off over the Sierra. Now, Hayfork, Weaverville, not out of the question to see, and I'm a little more happy with these numbers. Yesterday was showing 6 to 12 inches. I'd say closer to 4 to 8 inches in places like Weaverville and Hayfork. Maybe overdoing it for Hoopa. This right here, again, is kind of that hail that we are seeing in places like Crescent City and Eureka. Maybe some snow out towards El Turris. Mount Shasta City, could you see a foot of snow? Listen, that's not out of the question here through Thursday, so we'll certainly be on the lookout for that. And upwards of 4 to 8 inches out towards Lakehead as well. So still more on the way, right? This is just, yesterday was just the beginning. Now we've got the lower snow levels moving in today and even lower at some point in time as we go into Wednesday and Thursday. But there you can see the road conditions are not going to improve a whole lot. We've got that snow throughout the day, and that's going to keep those chain requirements most likely in the picture here through the day, through tomorrow, through tonight, and even into tomorrow morning. All right, let's take a look at the Sierra. Not a good idea. If it's not a good idea for you to drive over us, it's definitely not a good idea to drive over the Sierra region because they've already seen the closure of Interstate 80 yesterday because it was just a total mess out there. And you can see it's going to be another mess out there throughout the day today, midday today. Heavy snow. That's going to just bring several feet of snow throughout the day today, and then more snow going into tomorrow morning as well. Now let's talk about the winds. There is a wind advisory. It's now been extended to 10 p.m. on Thursday. Could see those gusts over 30 miles per hour. Now, I don't expect any major wind events. Here's to this evening. The winds do begin to die down, and there you can see Wednesday morning, fairly calm winds that could help to support some of that snow. Wednesday evening, 5 p.m., a little gusty. Then we go into your Thursday, the winds start to die down again. So off and on winds as the disturbances push on through, even as we go into your Thursday. But taking a look at the overall forecast wind gust from now through Friday, these are some of the strongest wind gusts that we could see through that time frame. So again, I don't expect anything major as far as winds are concerned. Look at these temperatures. I mean, it is downright chilly. Temperatures staying in the 40s through the rest of the week and this upcoming weekend, maybe back in the 50s by the end of this upcoming weekend and early next week. We talk about those lake levels every day because, yeah, it's a nice reminder that we are very healthy when it comes to those lakes still over 100% of that historical average. Wave heights are pretty high today. And we're probably not going to see a whole lot of that retreating much, although they will a little bit here for tomorrow. There is a small craft advisory today. Just need to be aware of that if you need to be on a small boat with your winds from the west at about 10 to 15 knots. So here's your neighborhood forecast, sponsored in part by Dignity Health. You can see those temperatures are going to be the upper 30s and in the low 40s. It is going to be a cold one. Now, I do expect, for the most part, once we get past Wednesday, not a lot of activity Thursday, not a lot of activity Friday or even Saturday, but then we do have more activity coming in for Sunday and into Monday. And that is pretty much across the board. For Siskiyou County, temperatures on the cool side, only in the mid to upper 30s for your daytime highs there. For Modoc County, mid-30s for your daytime highs, only getting up to 32 in Cedarville. So again, that colder air is moving in, and that's what's going to really help to support a better chance for snow in parts of the valley here, not only Wednesday, but possibly into early Thursday morning as well. So there you go. AM snow, it's a possibility on Thursday for places like Oroville. On Friday, just a slight chance for an isolated shower, but otherwise we are dry. And again, AM snow for Chico, it could happen, right, on Thursday. Late Wednesday into Thursday. And then we go into Friday, maybe some isolated showers here and there. Dry for Saturday, and then more showers come Sunday and Monday. All right, we take it up to the north end of the valley. Could see some snow flurries tonight, early tomorrow morning as well for places like Redding, even Red Bluff. And listen, it's not out of the question even on Thursday for Redding and Red Bluff to see some of that. And then looks like we're drying things out for the most part as we go into your Friday. And then Sunday, Monday, yeah, we got another round of some rain. But look how cool it is. Only mid to upper 40s through Saturday, low to mid 50s by Sunday, Monday. All right, that's your morning update. I'll be back again at noon for the latest check your weather. In the meantime, have yourselves a great morning.